Twins back-to-back walk-off winners. Brooks Lee, the hero today. Final score versus the Rays in Game 2. 6-5. Full deep dive coming up next. Minnesota Twins POSTCAST.
This is the Twins POSTCAST. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Twins POSTCAST right here. Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Main man with me. Sweet Lou Hennesey. Give him a follow on X at Sweet Lou MN. Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. For how much they've struggled lately and sit, 3 games below 500, 43 and 46. This team, Lou, I want to say 7 walk-off winners this year. Where does this Brooks Lee squeeze bunt Buxton scores rank in that group? Just top of your head.
Look, I think this one's important for sure, but I think it's really important because it comes after the one that happened yesterday. You know, those kinds of tentpole wins are supposed to really inflate your team. And if today was any indication, it finally worked. It feels like any one of these big wins that they've had, these walk-offs have been followed by a few losses. So it's really fun to see 2 in a row for sure.
Yeah, a lot of fun the past 48 hours or so. Lots to get into, too. Twins back-to-back walk-off wins over the Rays, plus our game MVP, biggest turning points, and a quick preview of Game 3 tomorrow. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Quick little recap if you missed it. Twins Rays, Game 2, Target Field. Rays jump all over the Twins early. It's 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Twins finally put a nice rally together, put up some big runs in the span of 3 outs. It feels like, especially as of late, past 3-4 weeks when they've struggled, they just have not been able to put up that big crooked number in any inning. And I'm not even talking about a huge crooked number. It was 4 runs. Royce Lewis with an RBI. That scored Carlos Correa. And then Cody Clemens right after that, 377-foot bomb to left field. And all of a sudden, we're back at 5. We're tied up at 5. Bottom 9, Buxton at 3rd. You got Brooks Lee at the plate. The squeeze is on. Lee lays down like this textbook bunt up the first baseline. Buxton speeds too much, never had a chance. Brooks Lee, he's the hero today. A second walk-off hit for Brooks Lee this year, by the way. Twins with back-to-back walk-off wins as well. So 6-5, that's your final. 43 and 46 now on the year. What was your biggest takeaways in this one? What really stuck out the most of the Twins? Feel like they may be starting to squeeze together a little bit of momentum now.
I would love to bring up the walk-off bunt. That's super exciting. I'd love to bring up the clutch game-tying home run in the 6th from Cody Clemens. But one of my favorite things is when the Twins beat a team using their own medicine. This was a game that the Rays, this is textbook Rays of a couple standout players and a good supporting cast and a really good bullpen. And the Twins outdid them this time at their own game, like I said. As far as player of the game, it's hard not to go with Cody Clemens, the bottle rocket, as I like to call him, with his 3-run shot. But you know what? I'm also going to give a huge shout out to Joan Duran doing 2 innings after Lou Varland went 2 last night. Rocco was so adamant about how important that clutch opportunity for him was, and it's the same for Duran tonight.
Talk about the platoon, too. No, Joe Ryan, who's actually got the start tomorrow. No, Paddock or Bailey Ober. It's Cole Sands that starts it. And then just your big platoon trying to chew up 9 innings. You mentioned Duran chewed up the most maybe important right at the end of the 8th and 9th. But just talk about the job they did and how good it feels, especially as a manager, I'm sure, to go get a dub when you don't have one of your starting 5 rotational guys up there.
Yeah, that's another way that the Twins outdid the Rays. I think the Rays kind of coined the opener strategy, and we saw it used pretty well today. Travis Adams didn't have the best outing as the bulk guy, but, he's a rookie. He's a young arm who's going to have to learn these things on the fly. Thank goodness he had, 3-4 other arms in the bullpen to come out and help him out and help pick him up. So I think that was huge to be kind of a whole staff win there.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Today's biggest turning point, then, couple different directions you might go here. When was it and why for the Twins? Lay it on us.
Easy to say it's the walk-off, but I think even the half inning that preceded it was maybe more important of Joan Duran having somebody in scoring position yet again, and he was
Yeah.
able to wiggle out of it for his second inning of work here. That is huge. They didn't have anybody else up in the bullpen. They let him go at it, and he was able to get a strikeout and then get a fly ball out to left field and let his team go hit a walk-off.
How about yesterday's walk-off winner as well, or the biggest turning point from yesterday? Not sure how much you followed it. Don't want to put you on the spot, but again, probably could go with the obvious. But again, feels like there's a couple options for that win in Game 1 yesterday on July 4th as well.
Yes, I was at the ballpark. It was hot. It was steamy. It was muggy, and it was painful for a while there until the very end when they were able to string some things together. And then obviously the one pitch walk-off home run from Harrison Bader. That's really important from someone in Bader's position too, as a veteran on a 1-year deal here. If the Twins were to go south, he's a contract that would probably be floated out in trade conversations, and he's improving his value. But here's the deal. First and foremost, hopefully he can use that performance to help his current club in the Minnesota Twins. So huge moment for him. And it's a huge moment for some of the younger players who got to witness it and got to say, hey, here he is. He buckled up and he was there for us in the clutch. So, guys like Brooks Lee, guys like Matt Wallner, some of these other young hitters, I hope they're paying attention.
Yeah, well said there. Plenty more deep dive. I want to get into a Game 3 preview. Feels like an eternity since the Twins have been looking for the sweep. Joe Ryan on the mound. That's all coming up, though, right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel's giving you a chance at a huge return, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Why I love FanDuel, when you get the hunch in the middle of the game, go check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more, all on the same page where you place your bets. Again, $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Getting some MLB future action if you dare. Twins plus 700 to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $200 in bonus bet guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, let's double dip a little bit. Back-to-back walk-off winners. I need not one, but two game MVPs right after this.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Think you may have spoiled your first one from today, but nonetheless, say it again. And then again, yesterday's game MVP as well.
Yeah, I'll go with the home runs for both of them. I'll say Cody Clemens with that very clutch shot. He's had, maybe I would say limited opportunities as a platoon player, which is probably a pretty good role for him. But he's stepped up in clutch situations when he's got 10 home runs on the year. I'll give it to Cody Clemens tonight. And obviously, got to go with Harrison Bader yesterday. 2 very, very important home runs, including that one in the 9th inning off a pretty good reliever.
Brooks Lee and Harrison Bader, if the Twins were, a little bit more, if they were better, if they were sexier, if they were a more successful team, right? Which guy do you think would be getting more love? Because both, it feels like, have had their moments this year, and both right now playing great, kind of heating up right now as they start to string together a couple W's here.
I'd probably say that Brooks Lee might be getting, would probably deserve a little more love in that event because he's been an everyday player. They've been using him very heavily at second base and at third when Royce was gone. So you got to imagine that if that strategy had led to a few more wins, he'd be a very important reason why. Bader, got to give him his roses too. He's been a very good, probably playing more than they anticipated when they signed him, but it's because he's deserved it. He's been performing quite well, and they're really comfortable with his defense in left field, especially.
Nerdy stat of the day. Any crazy stat, fun, analytic, Twins related? What do you got today?
You know what? I'm starting to put Joan Duran in the All-Star Game campaign here. He has been so good for the team, especially with runners in scoring position, which we saw in the second inning of his outing today. He has allowed just a 180 batting average with runners in scoring position over the last 2 years. So even last year, which seemed, maybe like a step down or maybe a watered down version of Duran, who was good but not spectacular. This year, he's come back in full force, and you can see over the last 2 years, holding guys in opponents to a batting average under 200 in very clutch situations like that. That's so important. So let's do it. Let's get Duran in that All-Star game. I think he's been one of the premier relief options in the entire league. So let's get him in there.
Where does he kind of rank among the rest of the league closers? Obviously, just here locally as Twins fans, we know we have a very high bar, high expectations for this man. Obviously, a couple ebbs and flows, but to your point, big picture, been one of the best in baseball. Where does he actually rank? I haven't seen any stats, or I don't feel like I have a pulse on kind of where he is among the MLB's best relievers.
Yeah, so especially this year, he's looking through some of the leaderboard statistics, he's consistently in the top 5 to 10 relievers for sure. So,
nice. Okay.
I'm not going to say he's the best reliever in the game. There's a few other guys that have been just as standout of years, but very comfortably top 10 reliever in the game, I would say.
Love that. Don't go anywhere. Preview Game 3 is the Twins' hunt for the sweep. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 10 million members today. For me and my money, it is by far the easiest, most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports, you watch your favorite players. So simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats. Watch the winnings roll in, strikeouts, RBIs, home runs, stolen bases, base hits, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, Game 3 tomorrow. Trying to bust out the brooms, looking for the sweep. Joe Ryan back on the mound. Give us the Game 3 scouting report. What you're just looking forward to the most, I guess, as the Twins hunt for their first sweep since, I want to say, that 13-game winning streak.
Yeah, no, it's this is going to be a big test for them for sure to see, are they still clawing out of this hole that they've been kind of digging themselves into. It's going to be a good opportunity for a revenge game. They're facing Drew Rasmussen, who absolutely diced them up earlier in the year when they faced him. Very tough righty, but they're throwing their best arm out there too in Joe Ryan, who has been every bit deserving of an all-star nod as just about anybody except for Byron Buxton on this team, I would say.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, 7 games until the All-Star break for the Twins. All 7 left still at home in the backyard at Target Field, which is great. What is kind of the conversation right now around this team? Still 3 games below 500 despite obviously very fun, dramatic walk-off winners the past 2 games. What's kind of the A topic, and which way is the Twins stock kind of pointing as a non-biased analysis?
I think the talk has to be on how the team can kind of raise the water level. They've had a few, star players perform for them for different stretches of the season here. Let's see everybody kind of rise as one, which is ironically enough their tagline on the season for their marketing campaign. But it's true. I mean, there's a lot of young players who you see some brilliance from them. Guys like Brooks Lee. We've seen some great flashes from Matt Wallner. Other young players who last year kind of failed to rise to the occasion and kind of grab that baton from the star players. They have an opportunity to do it again now, and time is kind of running out to turn this entire thing around. But if they can kind of keep their head above water, especially like you said in these home series, that's going to be huge heading into the All-Star break and then into the trade deadline. So it's those dog days of summer right now for sure.
What else is going on around the league? 3 months in the season, big sample size now, but still a long way to go, obviously. What anything surprised you as of late, caught your eye, maybe for good or bad, a specific team, a specific player, whatever it may be?
I'm a little surprised that the Atlanta Braves haven't been better this year. They've been so good for, honestly, it seems like the last decade. They're always in kind of the playoff picture, if not leading their division. This year, they have had similar issues of just turning it on for long stretches at a time, even with Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back and playing at an all-world level. So I'm a little surprised by the Atlanta Braves and kind of the disappointing season that they've been having.
Well said there. Great job, as always. Twins with back-to-back walk-off winners. Brooks Lee, the hero today. 6-5, that's your final. 43-46, 3 games below 500. Huge shout-out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and please go check out all Lou's work on X at SweetLouMN+. He's always putting up great work over at zonecoverage.mn.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Again, game 3 tomorrow. Trying to bust out those brooms. Joe Ryan on the mound. Catch you right here. Same time, same place. Until then, signing out.